so much for the opportunity we have to express our freedoms and to be a part of the Spirit country. Thank you for these leaders who serve us here in Amarillo, and for these citizens who come and express themselves. And what a great opportunity it is. So, Lord, we ask that you would give wisdom tonight. Your word says that if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. And so, Lord, we want to do the right thing. We want to make the good decisions, and so lead every part of this tonight is our prayer. Lord, we'd also ask for rain, that you would nourish our land again very, very soon. We pray these things. I pray these things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. That was wonderful. Please be seated. Good evening, our staff. Glad everyone made it here tonight. I guess we will go ahead and start with our agenda. There was a minute. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
There will move to approve the minutes.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes by a 4-0 vote. You all will give me just a minute here. I need to write these down so I won't leave them down. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, we're going to have to refine how we do this. So, okay. Cool. Okay. I just don't want to leave anybody off. Next item on the agenda is Ordinance 7261. Let's see here. The second and final reading of an ordinance changing the zoning of an unsited tract of land in the vicinity of Hampton Street and Perry Avenue from agricultural district to residential district 2 for single-family homes. And that's on the new screen right there. Yeah. And I see there's no one that wishes to speak to that one tonight, so do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 7261.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes by a 4-0 vote. The next item is resolution intervention of Atmos Energy Corporation's proposed rate increase filed on December 17, 2010. This resolution authorizes intervention to Atmos Energy Corporation or Atmos's proposed rate increase filed with the Railroad Commission of Texas on December 17, 2010. This request seeks an increase in rates for residences outside the city limits of Amarillo under the terms of a tariff referred to as the rate review mechanism. The city will retain Herrera and Boyle PLLC to assist in the evaluation of this request. Now, see, Alan Feingold wants to speak to this one, so Mr. Feingold, if you would mind to come up and give us your address if you don't mind to.
2601 North Grand Street.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to know if there is a rate request pending with the city that Atmos has made for an increase in the rates inside the city.
Is that Mr. North?
Mayor, the answer is no, there's not.
Okay. Would I be correct to assume that the motive for the city in intervening in this is that whatever is decided by the Railroad Commission concerning these residences outside the city might affect the city in the future in terms of what rate requests Atmos makes?
Ms. Atkinson, do you want to answer this?
That's exactly correct. The key feature of this is from the interest of the city of Amarillo. Today, we do the rate cases under the rate review mechanism, which is basically an agreed-to formula where we plug in the numbers, and every time it comes up, we come out with a new number, and it avoids a huge expense for our ratepayers. That's for inside the city. The reason we're asking to intervene in this one for the outside of the city is that one of the components that's in our formula is also in this formula, and it's how they calculate depreciation, and ultimately the Railroad Commission will have to rule on that. At the time they do, it will apply to us, so we'd like to get their
get ahead of it, see what we can get. We'll have to do it either today or the next time we have ours.
And Mr. Norris wanted to address that question as well.
Well, the manager is absolutely correct, and we only get one bite yet. We decide without our participation in this current case for outside the city. What will be decided there, it's too late by the time we have our next in-city rate case. The Railroad Commission will already set the precedent. Could be difficult to think about.
I'd like to make a suggestion. I don't know if we can do this, but I hope that this firm that you're retaining could raise the question with the Railroad Commission as to what the relationship is between the supplier of gas, which I presume is Pioneer Resources, and the distributing company, which is of course Atmos. There should be a clarification of the matter of the spin-off contract from 1983 that created Energas Corporation. Now, the Railroad Commission might declare this is not our purview, or this is not something that we wish to consider in a rate increase case, but it probably will affect all rate increase cases from now on. It actually has affected them since 1983. I hope you can do that. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but I think it would be worth trying.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Did you want to get more? Okay, you made a note on that. Other than that, we have no other questions. Commission, y'all have any questions? Okay, if not, do I have a motion?
Mayor, make a motion we approve item number 3, resolution.
Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes by 4-0 vote. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. It's recommended the following items be approved, and the city manager be authorized to execute all documents necessary for these transactions. A is to purchase residential solid waste refuse bags. B is to purchase police patrol rifle accessories. C is to purchase video security camera systems. D is purchase police parking enforcement system and in-car video system equipment. E is award a valve supply agreement. F is to award retrofit sewage lift stations electric motors with variable frequency drives. G is to award the Rick Pine Sports Complex LED lighting project. H is acceptance of voucher program renewal for the Department of Housing and Urban Development grant. I is approval airport livestock racing leases. J is approval firefighter mass casualty training program. K, approval surface use agreement. Let's see. L is approval Osage combined pump station project change order number 11. And then N is dedication acceptance right-of-way deed and public utility and drainage easement. There's just a couple on here, and then I wanted to have addressed, and then we will talk some more about them. Let's see. One of them was, because this attracts some attention, is the police parking enforcement system and in-car video system equipment. Mr. Atkinson, if you would mind explaining to everyone what that is. It's very exciting.
Certainly, Mayor. Item D is two pieces put last together. The first piece of that is an automated parking enforcement system. This is basically an electronic version of the older mechanism where an individual went by, typically in our case, on the three-wheel scooter, put a chalk mark on a tire, voted the time, came back to the specified interval, looked for a chalk mark, if necessary, issued a citation. This particular system is mounted in the vehicle. It does that automatically. Removes the necessity for that person being out in the weather doing that type of stuff, unless a vehicle has been in the zone longer than the allotted time, at which time the system will print the ticket and get out and put that on the windshield for it. The second half of this is an upgrade or a replacement to some of the existing video servers we have that handle the standard in-car video systems that we use today and have used for quite some time. Those systems today record traffic stops. They're triggered automatically when a police car activates its emergency lights and it goes a certain speed. If an officer activates it. And certainly that's for the protection of those officers and for the protection of the public. But anyways, those cars come in on shift at the end of each day. We have a system that automatically downloads that. We have to store and archive that video. That's the server and components that we're asking to replace. It's an existing one. We need to upgrade for that. They are proprietary units because they're all running the same manufacturer. They all need to work together for this to do well.
The technology nowadays is amazing what can be done. Larry Offerdahl, our Parks Director, is not here, but I'm excited about our Rick Pine complex, and we continue to move forward with that. If you don't mind explaining on the lighting project.
Certainly, Mayor. Item G, the Rick Pine Sports Complex LED lighting project. This is actually kind of the second phase of that. You'll recall the city was awarded funding under what's commonly known as the Stimulus Act of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, primarily to do energy efficiency projects. Using the first part of that money, we were able to purchase and install lights on the fields that Rick Pine previously didn't have. What we're doing now is coming back. We're trying to ensure that the city gets the best bang for its buck with those dollars. So what we're asking to do now is to light that parking lot, to drive into the parking lot, and then along the walkway that takes you from the parking lot into those ball fields. This project would use LED lights. I can't say that they'll save us electricity because today we don't have lights, so we're not using electricity. But according to the engineers, these LED lights will run at about 40% lower cost than a traditional parking lot light that we would normally use. Personally, I think it's an excellent opportunity. We don't have any LED area lights in the city. This is a chance to use that stimulus money to purchase those lights, to get them into place, and let's see if they deliver up their promises. It may be something we want to do more of in the future. But this is a chance to kind of try it before you buy it, so to speak.
Great. Okay, thank you. Ms. Cuddy, we have a question that's going to be asked on item H. Do you mind going over that with the
Thank you. Item H is a continuation funding of an existing program that we've had for several years. It's called our Mainstream program, and it's a housing voucher program where we pay a portion of families or individuals who have disabilities a portion of their rent to live in privately owned rental apartments anywhere they choose to enroll. This is a part of our regular housing assistance program. We have several of these small specialty programs targeted at certain populations. This funding is a little over $100,000 is a 6-month contract, and we will have another contract before the end of that 6 months expires to continue it on into the next year. So HUD has split these renewals up into 6-month pieces until they get through some budgeting. But like I say, this is a continuation of an existing program, and it's a very great program because it targets those families who have disabilities. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
We'll make one here in just a minute. Thank you so much. And then we also have another question, Ms. Jackson, on item K.
Okay, Mayor. Item K is a surface use agreement between the city and the Bison Development Company. Bison Development Company owns the surface of a large ranch up north of Amarillo on Highway 136. The city of Amarillo owns the water rights under that ranch, and Bison Development Company did not own the ranch at the time that those water rights were purchased. So we bought that from one particular seller. The city owns the water rights. The ranch was subsequently sold to Bison Development for the surface. This area is included in your Potter County well field. We are putting wells in on that location. The surface use agreement, in its simplest terms, and we can go into any detail that we need, but in simplest terms, it's kind of a good neighbor policy for how we will conduct ourselves on the surface of that property. We're going to be there, we'll be partners for a long time. So we need to be able to work with them. They have the opportunity to review some of the plans we have that affect their surface operations. There's a provision in there to let them work with us. They may choose to have an underground line installed for electricity, as an example, and there's an overhead line. And the way that would work is the city has a number. An overhead line would cost us X. A buried line would cost X plus Y. They're willing to pay Y. We're willing to vary those lines. Talks about, gates open, gates stays open, gates closed, gates stays closed. Have a definition for how we can teach this, so that when we come back after we've made a ditch that we haven't promoted erosion. How we cross drainage ways, walls, culverts, that. We've done this with other surface owners in the area. I do think we have one more yet that we're still working on. It really is an opportunity for all landowners to be on equal footing and for us to ensure that we're good partners over time.
If whoever makes the motion for the consent agenda, we need to probably remove H and K for safety consideration.
Or maybe the way to see comments on it.
We don't have to.
Still take comments and do a simple
Okay. Okay. I know we have a question on item H, and I should have done that when she was up here. Kathy, already had a question on that, so we're just learning this process.
Kathy Altman, 2105 South Lipscomb, and she may have already answered this. I think this project sounds really good, assisting people with disabilities on their housing, but it kind of worried me when I read that funding for the following 6-month period will be provided at a later date. That's sort of like, where do we stand if it's not provided? For instance, if HUD would have to cut back and they were not able to provide a grant at that point, would the city be responsible? Or
the city would not be responsible. Of course, traditionally, HUD's not done so. They're often not very quick, but they generally do, follow through. If for whatever reason those funds were not available, the city could potentially look to other sources of funding that we get from HUD or from other partners, or try to do the best we can to assist those folks with other community action agencies that might be able to help them.
Thank
It's
you.
not a general obligation of us.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question.
And then David, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. Desmond?
Yeah.
Okay, on item K. David, if you'll give us your address, please, sir.
1600 North Fairfield, Apartment 211. I just want to have her explain, many people know addressed a lot of water issues here in the past. I didn't know what it was all about. Positive development, they seem to be pretty efficient. They're energy efficient. I like that. Not just guzzling up the water and selling it downstream. And I just want to know what was going on, that's all. I didn't know how to, address you guys as what was going on with it. Calling format,
Okay.
That's
That could be on open form, or if you want to answer it now.
I think we can speak to that specific item. Bison Development Company, in this case, won't be the user of the water. That will be the city background. Okay. That uses it.
Yeah, that's what I understood, but I didn't know it was being sold out, to put into another critical stream, or something like that.
No open conveyance. We don't want to encourage that kind of loss, so all of our conveyances are closed. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Okay, see no one else has signed up. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mayor, I will move for approval of the consent agenda with one correction. On item G, that dollar amount should be $153,290. Instead of $153,000. So with that one correction, I will move for approval of the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes by 4-0 vote. Had a long consent agenda, a lot of consent agenda items today. So this concludes our regular scheduled meeting of the City Commission. However, we do like to allow people encourage people to come and talk to the City Commission on any items pertaining to any city services or programs that are not on today's agenda. And I just put these in random order, so Ms. It's all up here, is it? It's all up here.
I'm sorry, Mayor, we'll get that information back on the floor. Pursuant to state law, specifically the Texas Open Meetings Act, during a public forum time, the governing body is not allowed to debate, deliberate, discuss items brought up by a citizen at the microphone. State law says that items brought up in a public forum by a citizen can only receive one of three responses from the governing body. One is to make a statement of policy or fact, and that might address the citizen's concern. Second is to direct that citizen to the city manager or appropriate staff member for further follow-up or assistance with the matter. Or third and lastly, the governing body may deliberate amongst itself to determine whether or not to place that topic the citizen has raised on a future agenda for a broader discussion or action.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, as I said, this is random order, so I have Kathy Altman. I have you up first. If that will work with you, please, ma'am.
Okay. I don't have anything to say, but you have to sign that form ahead because otherwise you wouldn't be allowed to speak. So
Right.
Oh, my name is
Make sure you. Okay, you checked off you wanted to speak at the public forum. You don't need to stop unless you want to speak at the end of the meeting. So we're all learning about this.
I think Ms. Altman was putting a placeholder just to ensure that she, and that's something I think maybe we can help streamline as a process.
Yes, we're learning about this. Thank you. Okay, David Desmond again. David? Welcome back.
Still up there at Fairfield Apartments, apartment 211.
Just move.
Yeah, I haven't moved yet. As what's on my mind is, I went down to regional after the meeting November 26th, and I spoke with Gary Pitkin, and he motioned me over to Vicki Covey and Buzz David. I spoke with Vicki by telephone and wrote a letter to Mr. David. As what I'm after is an old federal government program, it's a rubber stamp program the federal government did. And I think the city government might have to go to a quorum or a quasi-judicial caucus to assist regional in getting this U.S. government program for the older houses bring up to an energy efficient standard. I mean, since like 1988, I've been working under a statutory law as a construction worker. And, the standard specs, UNC codes, there's something they're tinkering. There's something that, you don't use no more. You use your standard. And it's what I'm looking for is to get, the houses we grew up in, to get the sheeting off walls, get some R19 insulation on, good coat of paint. And the U.S. government will get it. And Texas, Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, and 2 other states were to create the energy efficient standards. And I'm thinking, it's what I'm hoping will happen, whatever. You guys can work with Buzz, David, Mrs. Covey, and Gary Pitkin on getting this U.S. government funding in here for those older houses. It's a project that's rubber stamped by the federal government. And my way is get out in one bar, slam it with a frame and axe, and throw that stuff away and get that base thing right up there and get that money in here for all older houses.
Great. Good comment. Mr. McDonald, would you like to speak to that? I've read some information on that. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say that.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Okay, no. Thank you. Thanks for the comment. I've read on some of that myself. Okay, I apologize. John, we should have done this. John Ingerson. Hi, John.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Just give us your address, please, sir.
2706 West 36.
John Ingerson, thank you.
Yes. I really appreciate this opportunity. As you can see, my comment was about the golf courses. Just a little background on myself. I'm very passionate about golf. For about 20 years, I was in the golf business here in Amarillo. A big part of my life. And I just wanted to share, I've got some notes here. I know I've only got 3 minutes, so let me get through what I need to. I've played in our city tournaments. I've held permits for many years. I've been very blessed to play in many places. We have some of the finest golf courses, public golf courses, in wherever I've been. I mean, we're very blessed. I do have some concerns, though. And as usual, I'm a day late, a dollar short, because I know we've made some decisions about building a new golf course. I don't know where we are. I don't know what the opportunities are, but I just want to share some things that are on my heart about that. You guys were not involved in some of the previous golf decisions we've made. So I don't hold anything against you guys. But we have really made some interesting choices. We built 2 golf courses at Comanche Trail in a lake bottom, and then we're surprised and shocked that we had drainage problems. We built a beautiful golf course, Wild Horse, Arrowhead. We put sand traps on those golf courses, and then we were surprised that the wind blew all the sand out of the traps. So I'm a little bit concerned because I see us kind of going down the same path of some of the mistakes we've made in the past. One of the biggest issues I have is given our current economic climate, spending, I believe, $4.3 billion to build new golf courses. When we're talking and hearing about Frank Phillips and all the educational issues we have, the money coming from the state, I know it's going to be a little bit harder to get. It's hard for me to think about us putting money into a golf course. I got to be honest with you. I played the course we're fixing to dig up right now. It's a fine golf course. I know it has some issues. I know the new golf course is going to address some of those. Let me see here. I know that we have some issues with what we call the old course, the old East course. I know that we have some old greens. I know that the irrigation system is very antiquated. I too would like some of the holes redesigned. But you know what? It's really hard for me to believe that we're going to go in there and dig that up when there are many, many cities all across this country that would consider themselves blessed to have that as a golf course. I played it not long ago. It does have issues. But for me, and I guess in my summary I would say, I don't see our city golf course situation as a facility-related problem. We have incredible facilities. We have dug a new couple of wells out of Comanche to put some fresh water on there instead of that old reclaimed stuff that was just rotten. I'm telling you that those golf courses are the best shape they've been since they built them. And I'm so thrilled to have that. In my opinion, our golf course situation, the problems that we have are operational related. We just, like I said, we seem to keep making the same mistakes over. We tried cool weather grass on the first course we built at Comanche. We had some issues with it. We put the cool weather grass back in the second golf course at Comanche. We still had the same problems. It requires a whole lot more water than our existing Bermuda courses. The grubs love it. There are just many issues. And for me, the water is a big issue. I mean, cool weather grass takes a lot more water. Takes a lot more fertilizer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ingram, I think I appreciate you sticking to three.
Okay.
Did you want to wrap it up with a summary?
And I know colloquialisms or whatever, but I just see what we're doing with Ross Rogers, the course that we have now. To me, it's just, we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, we do have issues. I'm glad that we're collecting $2 a green fee for some improvements. Mm-hmm. We do need a few improvements, but I don't know if it's too late or not, but that's a lot of money to spend with replacing a golf course that's in pretty good shape.
Thank you so much. Statement of fact, as our attorney would tell us, we did cover those in a couple of different sessions, but I would like for you to get with Mr. Atkins. He can point you to maybe the golf pro or whomever really worked this up to answer some of your concerns on this. So maybe bring you up to speed.
Okay.
If I could, Mayor, in fact, regarding the $4 million are expensive golf here. If you've been golfing here for 20 years, you know what a quantum leap it was out of Ross Rogers when they went to the
Wild Horse.
Wild Horse.
Yeah.
The Wild Horse.
Yes.
Of course, it's as fine as there is.
It's absolutely awesome.
We look for the same quantum leap with the redo of the old course, and it will be paid for with fees generated by the old course.
We can go into that.
We probably, it's
There's a lot to
debate.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah, there is.
But thank you for coming today. Donna, I forgot to set the clock on it. I'm sorry. Was that now? Okay. All right, let's see, Jimmy Hammond I have next. Please, sir, Jimmy, give us your address.
Mr. Hammond, I live at 1514 South Pierce. Every one of us in here has got a real busy life, and I got an article from the paper. I'd like to read it to everyone, and because I think it's really neat.
Remember, there's 3 minutes, Jimmy.
Okay, this is by William Semple from here in Amarillo. It's called Elect Responsible Leaders. We hear, see, and read lots of articles about how good or bad Democrats or Republicans are these days. Party labels, Democrat, Republican, or independent are not the issue. In fact, both major political parties have been bankrupt in this country since Franklin D. Roosevelt. Every administration, including President Roosevelt in 1940, has increased the federal debt. Do not believe in any candidate. Check out what they do, not what they say. Their scorecard is their voting record. So how do we solve the problem? Elect financially responsible representatives at all levels of government. Why are we bankrupt? We have not held our elected officials accountable. We have the government we deserve. If you don't like it, get off the couch, learn your rights, know the issues, how your representative voted, and educate others and vote. Get involved. Reality is here, like it or not. But do not play the blame game, which is all about denial and finger pointing. Our country was founded as a democratic republic. That means limited federal government. Good government starts at home and starts with you and me. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you so much. Let's see. Sherman Taylor. Kitchen. Sherman. Amy, that's you. Oh, come on. I'm so sorry, Sherman. I'm sorry for getting you.
On the public-private, I was not able to come to the earlier meeting, but I was John Beyond. The players with the most control, with the players with the most money, control the partnership. Public refers to government, local, state, country, and federal, foreign, all levels. Private, the private corporation, multinational corporations, big powerful corporations, as well as foundations. Universities, associations like the Timber Association, the Automobile Association, any association or entity with a lot of money. And non-government organizations. The NGO, most of the time, environmental NGO, Sierra Club, Nature Conservatory organization, organizations that has to do with the environment. Real bottom line of public-private partnership is to take control of assets of government, local, county, municipal, and even federal government. Public being government. Private, which can be corporations along with foundations and along with NGO. For instance, they come together and they determine they will buy a sewer. A city can't afford the reconstruction or revamping of the sewer system, therefore they go to the people and they say, we need to raise your taxes to redo your sewer system. The citizens say, we've already paid many taxes and we can't do this. They go back to the drawing board and they come up with this innovative idea. For example, Boeing Corporation is going to partner with the city and say to help the sewer system, and maybe the Nature Conservatory or Sierra Club will come alongside as a non-governmental organization to help. So pretty soon what happens is the sewer system, which belongs to the taxpayer or state, is transferred to the new partnership, which is comprised of a corporation, Boeing for example, and the city and state and Sierra Club. To get a new sewer system, what happens in a public-private besides the transfer of the asset? Well, a little lady receives her sewer bill, goes to the shop when she gets a bill and calls and says, I cannot afford this. What will happen? She will be talking to someone who represents the partnership, and what is their goal? Profit no longer, what is their goal? Profit no longer service. Profit no longer service, because that was the goal of the government, was service. And they will say, these are our new rates. Thank you very much. What else has happened? That part of the government that used to represent the taxpayer that while the sewer system is now silent and there is no representative government in a public-private partnership, because the goal is not to serve the people, the goal is to make a profit at any price. And 70 years ago, John Maynard King, I think that's the name, told Roosevelt how to get out of a depression was to deficit spend.
If you please wrap up, excuse me.
We now have, at every level of government, county level, state level, all levels are growth. They are now right to start selling their assets to public-private partnerships. What happens? The whole structure of our forefathers put together into place starts to become diluted little by little, until at some point we won't even recognize our government. The little lady who asked in Franklin, what kind of government do we have? Franklin replied, madam, you have a republic if you can keep it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the extra time.
You bet. Amy, there you are, Amy. Look at you, Amy. You read some. Thank you. Just for the record, we're still praying for you. Thank you. Thank you. I do want to voice my concerns about the new forum that we have. You knew I'd have some. I think that making it like this, where we have to write ahead of time, is to prevent rebuttals and to prevent questions and being able to question it when it happens. And what I want you to know is whether we speak and whether it's like a light, like a floodlight, or whether it's just a little candle with a little flame, the eye is always going to go to the light. The eye is always going to go to the light. And, you know, the fact that you are silencing it just shows that you're hiding something, and to keep such control. You know, we basically have a small amount of time to bring our answers, and we're one person in your whole panel. You're able to talk about things and figure out how you'll rebuttal and to silence our voice or to bring it back and have more control of what we can say. It just, for me, it shows that you're uncomfortable being accountable to the public. And there are a lot of things that we haven't heard about for a long time. We haven't heard about Wallace Bajali and where that arrangement is going. Also, you know, the big issue, my mom was reading about public-private and basically how that's a transfer of assets. And I was noticing that in the work session, there was a discussion on public-private and the different businesses that would be our tax money, our assets would be transferred to. That was decided on the 9th and the 16th. I do have some questions about who those businesses are. And the other is this. I think it's crazy that at a city meeting we're talking about public funding for golf courses, I think. You know, and what I hear in all of this is just transfer of wealth. I mean, we have all the golf carts that were bought with taxpayer money, and that these different businesses downtown that are being purchased with the TIERS money, which is from the increased property value on my home, which will eventually chase many of my neighbors and even me out of my home. And that the city is spending money on golf carts and things, and you know, and pulling it out of Parks and Recreation. But I read in the Globe News a while back where they were looking at not allowing the children to play on the different courts because it costs too much money to maintain it. But yet we are able to buy golf carts and to build a golf course. And I think it's messed up priorities and just a transfer of wealth from the working. Thank you so much. I might got two that I know for a fact. Wallace Bajali will be presented again in 2 weeks, I believe, or a few weeks back to the community. And then on golf carts, even though they're purchased by the city, they will be paid back with the user fees. So over time, that will be paid back to the city of Amarillo.
And Mayor, if I may, because I received a phone call on the very first subject you were talking about how we cannot respond to issues that are brought up in this public forum. This is to protect you, because like the issue the man brought up on water issues, which are not on our agenda today, or he brought up on this housing substance that would come from the federal funding. If you had an interest in that, and were not aware that we were going to talk about it, you wouldn't come to this meeting. But if we post it on our agenda and let the world know that we're going to talk about it, if you have an interest, then you can come. And since these items are not on our agenda, we can't discuss them, because that would be a violation of the open meetings laws, which protect you as a citizen. It's a state law. So that's why we can't discuss it.
But we used to be able to speak on agenda items. We had some that spoke today on some agenda items, and they just filled out one of these and said which item they wanted to speak to. We had some today that spoke, today spoke on it. So, statement of fact. Let's see, I guess that's all that we have today to speak, and we really appreciate everyone coming. We have some good information, and thank you all for being here today. This meeting stands adjourned, and no more executive session tonight. Is that right? No executive session. Okay.